The blue-green marble of Earth rotated peacefully in the distance as Dr. Han Jiwoo gazed through the large viewport of Research Station Harmony. 3,000 years of peace had transformed humanity into something their ancestors could barely imagine. Cities floated above the clouds on Earth. Colonies thrived on Mars, Europa, and Titan. Yet despite all this progress, humans had never encountered another intelligent species. Until today. Jiwoo's hands trembled slightly as she studied the signal patterns on her screen. After 15 years of scanning the cosmos, her team had detected something that couldn't be explained by natural phenomena. The signal originated from Proxima Centauri, Earth's closest stellar neighbor. Dr. Han, you should see this. Her assistant, Ba Min-soo, pointed to a new pattern emerging on the display. Jiwoo leaned forward. It's repeating mathematical sequences, prime numbers. Her voice dropped to a whisper. This is deliberate communication. The laboratory fell silent as the team gathered around the displays. Some stared in wonder, others in disbelief. Humanity had long theorized about alien life, but proof had remained elusive for millennia. We need to contact Earth Command immediately, Jiwoo said, her calm voice masking her excitement. The call to Director Kim Ta-won took only moments to connect despite the vast distance between Saturn and Earth. The aging director's image appeared on screen, his expression shifting from annoyance to shock as Jiwoo explained their discovery. Are you certain? He asked. The pattern is unmistakable, Jiwoo replied, and it appears to be directed specifically at our solar system. Tae-won nodded slowly. I'll convene the Global Council. Continue monitoring the signal. Send all data directly to me. Within hours, the news spread throughout human space. Crowds gathered in public squares on Earth and in the domed parks of orbital habitats. Children in classrooms from Mercury to the Kuiper Belt colonies watched special broadcasts explaining the significance of the discovery. At the Global Council headquarters in New Seoul, Lee Sang-min called for calm as she addressed humanity. For 3 millennia, we have wondered if we are alone in the universe. Today, we have our answer. We will proceed with caution, but also with hope and dignity, representing the best of what humanity has become. 2 weeks later, Jiwoo found herself aboard the diplomatic vessel Olive Branch, Earth's most advanced ship. Captain Park Hyun-ki welcomed her to the bridge with a respectful bow. Dr. Han, your team will have complete access to our communication systems, he said. We launch tomorrow. Jiwoo nodded, trying to control her nerves. Thank you, Captain. My team is ready. She toured the ship, meeting the diverse crew selected for this historic mission. Linguists, biologists, physicists, and cultural experts from every corner of human influence had been gathered. Some, like her, had never left their home systems before. That evening, unable to sleep, Jiwoo stood in the ship's observation lounge. The stars looked different here than from her research station. Soon, they would be traveling toward one of those distant points of light, making humanity's first journey to another star. Nervous? Asked a voice behind her. Jiwoo turned to see Yoon Min-ho, the ship's chief engineer, a man known for his brilliance with adaptive systems. Wouldn't you be? She replied. Min-ho smiled. Of course, but also thrilled. 3,000 years of peace gave us the chance to reach this moment. Our ancestors nearly destroyed themselves many times. Instead, they chose a different path. And what if these aliens aren't peaceful? Jiwoo asked. Then we'll face that challenge together, as we've faced all challenges since the Great Unification. Min-ho's confidence was reassuring. The next morning, as the Olive Branch prepared for departure, Jiwoo received one last message from Director Kim. Your research made this possible. His message read, whatever we find out there, humanity is ready because we have learned to stand united. Safe journey, Dr. Han. As the countdown began, Jiwoo thought about the path that had brought humanity to this moment. 3,000 years without major conflict. 3,000 years of cooperation and growth. Now they would represent not just Earth, but all human achievements since the dawn of civilization. The ship hummed to life around her. Captain Park's voice came over the communication system. All systems ready. Prepare for launch. Jiwoo watched as Earth grew smaller behind them. Ahead lay a journey of 4 years to reach Proxima Centauri. 4 years to prepare for humanity's first meeting with alien intelligence. She had no way of knowing that the Vorax, as they would later call themselves, were already watching, and that they had very different ideas about how civilizations should greet one another. The olive branch slowed as it entered the Proxima Centauri system. After 4 years of travel, the crew gathered on the bridge, their faces reflecting a mix of excitement and tension. Dr. Han Jiwoo had spent those years studying the alien signals, working with her team to understand the basic elements of the Vorax language. Object approaching, announced the ship's sensor operator. It's moving fast. Captain Park Hyun-ki straightened his uniform. On screen, the display showed a ship unlike anything humans had designed. It resembled a giant metallic sea pod with spines extending in all directions, glowing with energy. "They're hailing us," said the communications officer. Jiwoo stepped forward. "I'm ready." The alien that appeared on screen made several crew members gasp. The Vorax stood nearly 3 meters tall, with a body covered in what looked like bronze scales. Its head featured 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, and when it opened its mouth to speak, rows of sharp teeth glinted in the light. "We are the Vorax," it said in a surprisingly good approximation of human language. "You will follow our vessel to the meeting point." Captain Park nodded respectfully. "We are honored to meet you. We come in peace from Earth." The Vorax ship escorted them to a small planetoid orbiting Proxima Centauri. As they approached, Jiwoo noticed massive structures covering its surface. The aliens had built cities here. 6 hours later, Jiwoo found herself standing beside Captain Park in what appeared to be a grand meeting hall. 3 Vorax sat across from them at a long table made of a material that seemed to shift colors. The largest Vorax, clearly the leader, studied the humans with unblinking eyes. "You have traveled far," the Vorax commander said. "We have observed your kind for many cycles. We are pleased to establish peaceful relations," Jiwoo replied, following the diplomatic protocol she had rehearsed countless times. The commander tilted its massive head. "Your vessels carry no weapons. Your transmission signals mention no wars for 3,000 years. Explain." Captain Park stepped forward. "Our civilization chose peace long ago. We found that cooperation served us better than conflict." The 3 Vorax exchanged glances. The commander leaned forward, its scales shifting from bronze to a deep red. "You have no military?" it asked for the 3rd time, as if unable to comprehend this concept. "We maintain security forces for emergencies," Captain Park explained. "But humanity has evolved beyond warfare." The commander's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "Impossible. All intelligent species must compete to survive." Jiwoo tried to explain the great unification and how humanity had redirected its competitive nature toward scientific achievement and artistic expression. The Vorax seemed unimpressed. "Your species is either lying or defective," the commander finally declared. "The Vorax have conquered 12 civilizations. All faced the trial of ascendancy. Now you will face it too." The smallest Vorax activated a device that projected a 3-dimensional image showing a series of contests. 3 challenges, the commander explained: strategic combat, technological innovation, and cultural achievement. Succeed, and we will recognize your independence. Fail, and you join our empire as subjects. Jiwoo felt her heart racing. "We came to establish friendly relations, not to compete." "There is no friendship without respect," the commander said. "And respect is earned through strength." Captain Park maintained his composure. "We will need to consult our government." The Vorax allowed them to return to their ship. As soon as they were aboard, Captain Park called an emergency meeting. "We need to contact Earth immediately," he said. Back on Earth, Lee Sang-min, head of the Global Council, listened to their report with growing concern. These aliens measure civilizations by their ability to fight, she asked, her image flickering slightly in the ship's communication room. They seem to respect strength above all else, Jiwu confirmed. Sang Min conferred with other council members off-screen. After several tense minutes, she returned. We have no choice but to accept their challenge, she declared. But we will face it our own way. Over the next days, Earth prepared. Professor Choi Do-hyun, the foremost expert on ancient military history, was called from retirement. Engineers began modifying entertainment technology for the trials. Historians reviewed old battle strategies that hadn't been needed for millennia. When Jae-woo and Captain Park returned to the Vorax Command Center, the commander seemed surprised to see them. You accept the trial of ascendancy? It asked. We do, Captain Park replied firmly. The commander's scales shifted to a deep purple. Most species beg for mercy or try to flee. Humanity doesn't run from challenges, Jigu said. We've just found different ways to overcome them. The commander made a sound that might have been laughter. We shall see. The first trial begins in 10 days. Prepare yourselves. As they returned to the olive branch, Jiwu wondered if humanity remembered enough of its warlike past to face what was coming. 3,000 years of peace had changed them fundamentally. Would that change prove to be their greatest weakness or their hidden strength? Professor Choi Do-hyun hadn't expected to leave his quiet home in the mountains of New Korea. At 87, he spent most days tending his garden and writing about ancient military history, a subject most people considered oddly antiquated. No one had fought real wars in thousands of years. The call from the Global Council changed everything. Professor, we need your expertise, Lee Sang-min had told him. Humanity faces its first interstellar challenge. Now, 1 week later, Do-hyun stood before a room filled with the brightest minds from across human space. Some had arrived in person. Others appeared as lifelike holograms from distant colonies. Looking at their faces, he saw not fear, but something unexpected: excitement. The Vorax have challenged us to prove our worth through combat, he explained, gesturing to diagrams showing what they knew of alien battle tactics. We haven't fought a real war since before the Great Unification. That doesn't mean we can't fight, said a young woman in the front row. She was Kang Sun-hee, chief engineer from the Mars colonies. We just choose not to. Around the room, heads nodded in agreement. I've spent my career creating entertainment simulations, Sun-hee continued. My team can adapt our technology to create battle systems that respond to Vorax strategies. Do-hyun had expected resistance or fear. Instead, he found a room full of humans approaching the challenge with curiosity and determination. On the other side of Earth, in the rebuilt city of New Bangalore, teams of historians and game designers worked together in a repurposed museum. They studied ancient battles from human history, everything from Alexander's campaigns to the last conflicts before the Great Unification. Chess masters, said one advisor to the council. We need the best strategic game players humanity has produced. Within days, champions of Go, chess, and complex virtual reality games were gathered. People who had used their strategic minds for entertainment now applied them to humanity's defense. Aboard the Olive Branch, still orbiting Proxima Centauri, Dr. Han Ji-woo received regular updates from Earth. She shared them with the Vorax observers who had been permitted on board. Your people seem calm, noted the Vorax observer, a younger member of their species named Krell. His scales shifted to a puzzled blue-green color. We face challenges differently than you might expect, Ja-woo explained. Krell tilted his massive head. Without warfare for 3,000 years, how will you remember how to fight? Ji-woo smiled. Humans never forget. We preserve knowledge, even knowledge we hope never to use. The observer watched silently as humans converted parts of the ship into training areas, their movements efficient and coordinated. Meanwhile, on Earth's moon, Yoon Min-ho led a team converting an entertainment complex into a command center. Massive screens showed simulations of potential Vorax attack patterns based on what little they knew. They expect us to either copy their methods or fail completely, Minho told his team. They don't understand that peace hasn't made us weak. It's made us adaptable. 3,000 years of cooperation had changed how humans solved problems. Where the Vorax saw only force, humans saw patterns and possibilities. Back at the Global Council, Lee Sang-min received a surprising request. Historical reenactment societies, people who studied and practiced ancient ways of life as a hobby, had volunteered their services. They know more about practical warfare than anyone, her assistant explained. Sang-min agreed immediately. Have them work with Professor Choi. 2 days before the first trial, Ji-woo welcomed a small Vorax delegation aboard the Olive Branch. They had come to observe final preparations. What they saw clearly confused them. Instead of military drills, they found humans engaged in what looked like games. Teams worked together solving complex problems. Others meditated or practiced slow, flowing movements that seemed more like dance than combat training. "These are your warriors?" asked the lead Vorax observer, scales flashing with doubt. "These are our problem solvers," Captain Park replied calmly. That evening, the Vorax commander requested a private meeting with Ji-woo. "Your species does not respond as expected," the commander said. "Other civilizations showed fear. They begged for mercy or tried to copy our methods. You seem interested in our challenge." Ji-woo considered her words carefully. 3,000 years ago, humans fought each other constantly. We nearly destroyed ourselves. When we chose peace, we didn't forget our past. We learned from it. The commander's scales rippled with an emotion Ji-woo couldn't read. "Tomorrow, we will see if peace has made you weak or strong." As the commander left, Ji-woo received a final transmission from Earth. It showed billions of humans across the planet and colonies joining together in quiet support. Not in panic or preparation for war, but in a shared determination to face this challenge together. The Vorax had expected to find either warriors or cowards. Instead, they found something they had never encountered before, a species that had transformed competition into cooperation without losing its strength. Tomorrow, the first trial would begin. The first trial began at dawn, measured by the slow rise of Proxima Centauri over the planetoid's horizon. The Vorax had prepared an arena, a vast, empty region of space between two small moons. Captain Park stood on the bridge of the Olive Branch, looking at the small fleet of vessels Earth had sent through emergency faster than light travel. 10 ships, said the Vorax commander through the communication screen. Against our 10. This is the trial of strategic combat. The human vessels looked strangely delicate next to the spiked Vorax ships. They had been designed for research and transportation, quickly modified for this unexpected challenge. "We accept the terms," Captain Park replied, his voice steady. The Vorax vessels moved into formation, a classic wedge shape that had been used by military forces across the galaxy. They expected the humans to copy their approach or attempt something primitive. Instead, the human ships scattered in what appeared to be random directions. "What strategy is this?" demanded the Vorax commander, scales flashing with confusion. Park didn't answer. On Earth, Professor Choi Do-hyun and a team of ancient military historians watched through linked communications. Beside them sat 5 championship Go players who had helped design this approach. "They expect direct confrontation," Do-hyun said. "Show them something different." The human ships suddenly released thousands of small objects, each no bigger than a human hand. The swarm of devices surrounded the Vorax fleet, not attacking but simply moving in complex patterns. "Scan those objects," ordered the Vorax commander. "They appear to be simple reflectors," reported a Vorax officer. "They carry no weapons." The commander's scales turned a deep red. "This is not combat. This is..." Before he could finish, the small devices began emitting precisely calculated pulses of light. The Vorax targeting systems, designed to focus on large vessels, became confused by the multiple signals. "They're disrupting our coordination," said the Vorax weapons officer. I cannot get clear targeting. Meanwhile, the human ships regrouped in a new formation. While the Vorax had been distracted, the humans had moved into position around them. "We could strike now," said one of Park's officers. "That's not our goal," Park replied. "We don't need to destroy them to win." Instead, the human ships created an energy field between them, completely surrounding the Vorax fleet. The field didn't damage the alien vessels, but it prevented them from maneuvering effectively. After 30 minutes of attempting to break free, the Vorax commander's image appeared on the bridge screen. "You have neutralized our fleet without firing a single shot," it admitted. "The first trial is yours." 3 days later, they gathered for the second trial. Technological innovation. The Vorax had prepared a complex problem. Create a device that could survive inside the corona of Proxima Centauri and transmit data back. Engineer Kang Sun-hee led the human team. While the Vorax expected them to build a heavily shielded probe, Sun-hee had different ideas. "We don't need one large device," she explained to her team. "We need many small ones working together." The Vorax watched with growing interest as the humans created a network of tiny probes, each carrying minimal equipment. When one failed in the star's heat, the others adjusted their positions to maintain the network. "Your approach is unusual," said Krell, the younger Vorax observer who had been assigned to study the humans. "We call it distributed resilience," Sun-hee replied. "No single point of failure." When the test results came in, the human network had gathered 3 times more data than the Vorax expected possible. Even more surprising to the aliens, the humans freely offered to share their findings about the star. "The knowledge benefits everyone," Sun-hee explained when the Vorax questioned this decision. That evening, Lieutenant Krell requested permission to speak with his commander privately. "These humans are different," Krell said. "They solve problems in ways I've never seen." "They are strange," the commander agreed. 3,000 years of peace should have made them soft and weak. Instead, it made them think differently," Krell finished. "They don't approach challenges as we do." The commander's scales shifted thoughtfully. "The final trial will test them truly. Cultural achievement can't be solved with clever tricks." Meanwhile, Dr. Han Jiwoo prepared for the last challenge. Unlike the others, this one would ask humans to demonstrate what they valued most, what they had created during 3 millennia of peace. "How do we show 3,000 years of culture in a single presentation?" she asked Captain Park as they walked through the ship's garden area. "We don't," Park replied. "We show them who we've become because of it." As the final trial approached, something unexpected happened. Vorax observers began requesting more information about human history. Some even asked to try human foods or listen to human music. "They're curious about us," Jiwoo realized. Perhaps that's a victory already. The commander watched these developments with 4-eyed intensity. The humans had passed 2 trials using methods the Vorax had never considered. Now they wondered what the final trial would reveal about these strange, peaceful beings who somehow remembered how to face challenges without losing their unique approach to problems. The final trial took place on Mars, where the Vorax had agreed to travel as a show of mutual respect. The Grand Assembly Hall, with its soaring glass dome revealing the pink Martian sky, had been prepared for the cultural achievement demonstration. Delegates from 12 conquered species sat beside the Vorax leaders, their diverse forms a stark reminder of what failure might mean for humanity. Dr. Han Jiwoo walked to the center of the hall. No elaborate technology surrounded her, no weapons or displays of power. She wore a simple white garment, her only adornment a small pin showing Earth and its colonies united. "To understand what 3,000 years of peace has given us," she began, her voice carrying through the hall, "you must first understand what we left behind." At her signal, the lights dimmed. Images filled the air around them. Ancient battles, environmental disasters, scenes of suffering and division from humanity's distant past. "Like many species, we nearly destroyed ourselves," Jiwoo continued. "But then we made a choice." The images shifted, showing the great unification, The Vorax commander leaned forward, scales shifting to an attentive blue as he watched the transformation unfold. How former enemies had joined forces to repair their planet. How boundaries dissolved as humanity reached for the stars together. Our strength, Ji-Woo said, lies not in our ability to destroy, but in our ability to create. With these words, the hall transformed. From hidden panels, examples of human achievement emerged. Art that captured emotions no Vorax had words for. Music that made several alien delegates tremble with unexpected feelings. Scientific discoveries freely shared with all humanity rather than hoarded for advantage. The Vorax commander studied everything with 4 unblinking eyes. This is your demonstration. Art and knowledge. No, Ji-Woo replied. This is. She gestured, and the doors opened. In walked representatives from every human colony. Different colors, sizes, cultures, all working together. They moved through the hall, showing not uniformity but harmony and difference. In 3,000 years, we could have created perfect weapons, Ji-Woo explained. Instead, we created perfect collaboration. As if to demonstrate, the humans began solving complex problems presented on the spot. Mathematical challenges, engineering puzzles, philosophical questions, each approached by teams that formed and reformed fluidly based on needed skills rather than hierarchy. The young Vorax, Krell, moved closer to Ji-Woo. Your species doesn't compete against itself anymore. We compete with what we were yesterday, she answered, not with each other. The commander rose suddenly. This is not what we expected. No, Ji-Woo acknowledged, but it is who we are. An uncomfortable silence filled the hall. The commander conferred with other Vorax, their scales flashing in patterns that suggested heated debate. The representatives of conquered species watched with new interest. Finally, the commander approached Ji-Woo. In 3,000 years of expanding our empire, we have never encountered a species like yours. You have passed our trials, but not in ways we understood. Perhaps, Ji-Woo suggested quietly, the true victory isn't in passing your trials, but in helping you see different possibilities. The commander's scales shifted to a color she hadn't seen before, a deep purple with flecks of gold. Our histories teach that peace makes species weak. You have proven otherwise. That evening, a formal declaration was made. Humanity would not be conquered. More surprising was the commander's next announcement. The Vorax would establish an ongoing dialogue with Earth. As the Vorax delegation prepared to return to their world, Krell approached Ji-Woo with an unexpected request. I wish to remain, the young Vorax said, to study your ways. As our guest, Ji-Woo replied, not our student. We have much to learn from you as well. Word spread through human space of their success. Not victory through dominance, but through demonstration of a different kind of strength. Several of the previously conquered species sent quiet requests to establish their own relations with Earth. 1 month later, Ji-Woo stood on a balcony overlooking New Seoul. The city gleamed in the evening light, peaceful after 3,000 years of human growth. Beside her stood Krell, his tall form drawing curious but welcoming glances from passers-by. My people believed that conflict was inevitable between intelligent species, Krell said. That cooperation was a sign of weakness. Ji-Woo watched children playing in a park below, from families that originated on 6 different planets. 3,000 years ago, we believed the same, she replied. Now we understand that the greatest strength isn't in conquering others, but in helping everyone reach their potential. Krell's scales shifted to thoughtful blue. Perhaps this is the beginning of something new, not just for humans, but for all species. As night fell over the peaceful city, Ji-Woo thought about how humanity's greatest challenge had not required them to abandon 3 millennia of peace, but to demonstrate its true power. Not through force, but through the quiet strength that comes from standing together. The stars appeared overhead, no longer just distant lights, but homes to species who might, with time, understand what humanity had learned through its long peace, that true victory comes not from domination, but from transformation.